Cześć, Ciemanko, witam was bardzo serdecznie w czwartym odcinku ze Stanley Parable. Kontynuujemy tutaj tradycyjnie już nie z początku, lecz z tego wyboru między drzwiami pójdziemy sobie
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a
to też już byliśmy, zamijamy.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Idziemy wprost. Tu się przejdziemy. Tu jeszcze nie byliśmy.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Brzmi ciekawie. Jakieś dziwne magazyny. Cóż mnie tym razem czeka? Zejść na dół. Ach, no tak, w tej grze się skakać nie da.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why? I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Że co mnie czeka, jak znów się mu sprzeciwiłem? Jakie drzwi?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nie, ja wybiorę blue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Jeszcze raz. A?
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
Whoa.
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Gdzie my kuźwa jesteśmy?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Czy to oznacza, że mam 5 różnych zakończeń? No, powiedzmy, że piąteczka.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
What the fuck? Stanley Worldwide Leaderboard. Rozumiem, że jeszcze mamy inne decyzje do wyboru.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Jaką grę? No nie mówcie, że zaimplementowali w Stanley Parable jeszcze jakąś grę.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
No bez jaj. A jak go spalę?
Heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Nie, because I don't have time to play more.
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Nie. Znowu bawimy się w resety. Ale wiesz doskonale, że...
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done
Dużo
making
mogę
things for
zrobić.
you. From
Bez
now on,
skakania.
I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose.
Ja pierdzielę,
Watch
że im
this,
się
Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Nie ma innej drogi już. The fuck?
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Kurwa. Ja pierdolę. Że też nikt w Minecrafcie nie wpadł na taki pomysł. By zrobić narrację. Nie... Żeby tu ma... O, podejrzewam, że tu może jakaś antena oddzielna ten? Nie da się?
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nie mam lighta! O co kaman? Czemu? Co oni jarali? Żeby... Co to jest? Jakieś takie dziwne kubki? Cóż oni jarali?
No. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Co to było za... Co to był za dźwięk? Nie, no tego bym się nie spodziewał. Zrobienie Minecrafta, ale przynajmniej kojarzę, jakie to jest zakończenie. To jest zakończenie właśnie z tym dzieckiem, baby ending. Coś ciekawe, czy ten experience, ten feedback ma jakikolwiek No nie, no bez jaj.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out. Listen to
No
me
bez
talk. Oh,
jaj.
inspired. I couldn't
Mogę
have done it any better
podnosić.
myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Skąd oni mają pozwolenie na portala? Skąd? Oh my god.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Nie, że niedawno skończyłem pierwsze 2 portale.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste
Dlaczego
my
mnie przyszli?
time, I'm
Może
just
do
going to leave
koda?
you here.
Do
You
CS-a.
can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made.
Ale
The
ma,
thought won't last long.
ale ma focha, Jezu.
Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Odchodzi. Tak, w końcu sobie mogę pogadać. I chyba muszę spać na dół. Bum. What the fuck? Jakieś dymy się udzielają. Work in progress. No to po prostu subcio, że też ja pierdzielę, że ja tu nic nie widzę. Że też doprowadziłem go do takiego stanu, że w końcu się uciszy na jakiś grubszy moment. No i nie wiem, to jest chyba mój koniec. What the f... Gdzie ja kuźwa jestem? Te tekstury wyglądają mi kurczę znajomo. Ach, no tak, przecież to jest Stanley jeszcze jako mod. Rzeczywiście. Ale jest tutaj tak ciemno, że ja niewiele widzę. I podejrzewam, że ta gra już nie ma żadnego przesłania. Poza krążeniem w kółko. A może jednak nie w kółko. A jednak może nie w kółko. Bez jajkuś. Ale jazda. Ale zajebiste zakończenie. Poszukuję odpowiedzi na pytanie, gdzie ja kuźwa jestem? Stąd mnie obserwowali? No, tekstury nie najlepsze, powiem wam. Nie ma też za bardzo co zrobić, bo nasz kochaniutki lektor Steve odszedł. Za bardzo...
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story,
Nie odszedł,
perhaps he's
chuj.
gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh yes, Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Samo się zrestartowało. Czyli dobra, mamy baby ending powiązany z czymś innym. Jeszcze zobaczymy, czy przypadkiem coś się nie zmieniło.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Tu
What
się
could it
dało
mean?
jakoś
Stanley decided to go to the
wyjść.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Jest! Jest! Udało się.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative
Tak,
tropes.
pogromca bugów
So,
powraca.
now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Jesteś...
Ah,
No.
then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really
Czy on
miserable
mnie
to
po prostu
listen to, then perhaps you're
zagaduje?
not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here.
Dobra. Beginuj game'a again. Ale przyznajcie, że to jest takie zakończenie, o którym ciężko jest odnaleźć, tak? Jak się często achievementów szuka, no to tutaj akurat jest cholernie podobnie.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Powiedzmy, że
Well,
jest.
I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley. Who people considered
Glados, masz konkurencję.
He was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
What the fuck? I od nowa pewnie. No dobra. to poznaliśmy kolejne zakończenie. O, niech to leci w tle w sobie. Kolejne zakończenie, jeżeli chodzi o parablowanie Stanleya, czyli The Stanley Parable prosto od Galactic Cafe. I cóż ja mogę powiedzieć? Widzimy się w ostatnim 5. odcinku, jeżeli chodzi o moje doznania, mój let's play i poznawanie kolejnych zakończeń. Tym razem pójdziemy sobie w cargo lifta, wsiądziemy do windy, a raczej będziemy na niej stali. I już tam nie spadniemy w dół, tylko już normalnie będziemy się go tam mniej więcej słuchać. I poznamy kolejne zakończenia, tak? Przypominam, zakończeń jest podobno 18 i część z nich już troszeczkę mam. W ogóle tu jest taki... O, tu się nie ruszyć nie mogę. To możliwe, że tu jest jakieś może wyjście. No nie, jestem zamknięty gdzieś. Po prostu, jestem gdzieś zamknięty. No dobra, także co? Trzymajcie się. Hejos. No i polecam. Stanley Parable, oby więcej takich gier. Bo czasami ciężko zrozumieć, domyślam się, że nie każdy ogarnia angielski, wiecie jakby ile to musiałoby mi czasu zająć, by tłumaczyć to wszystko co on mówi. Ale mam nadzieję, że mniej więcej kumacie, także co, trzymajcie się, hej.